Yesterday at an abortion rally outside the Supreme Court, Chuck Schumer, the master of heartfelt Senate hypocrisy, said this.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
Outrageous stuff. Even Chief Justice John Roberts called Chuck's comments dangerous. Sensing trouble, Schumer's office offered a coward's lie, claiming Chuck really meant Republicans would pay, not the judges, by birthing a major reproductive rights movement, which we know is false because that movement already exists. I want to tell you, Senator Gasbag, never before in the history has the unborn ever faced such hate because, you know, they're just a bag of cells, unlucky enough to be conceived after these lucky women were born.
Abortions are one of the safest procedures you can do on an outpatient basis. Safer than doing an endoscopy or doing a wisdom teeth extraction.
Today, we are taking the opportunity to present reproductive freedom, including abortion, for exactly what it is, no less than liberty itself.
To where my people who had abortions? Where y'all at? Oh, hey, hey, ho, ho, abortion bans have got to go. I will never stop talking about my abortion.
Oh, thank you for that. So what is Chuck Schumer really? He's not a firebrand or a bomb thrower. He's just a follower, following them. The abortion movement has moved from the valley of abortion being legal and rare to come one, come all. It's a descent into the irrational, where one denies science as a way to deny limits to their demands. And in this move, where abortion is no longer a tragic decision, but a choice to be championed, laughed about, even bragged about, it's understandable that a weak and anxious man like Chuck would find himself swept up in the hawkish fever for casual termination of the small and inconvenient. Funny how some in the media worried that the judges were being threatened. No, Chuck's just another empty, grandstanding joke. The judges can take care of themselves. Pity those who never have that chance. So, Judge, he did a half apology. I think we have it here. I'd love you to comment after we play it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I said okay.
I'm from Brooklyn. We speak in strong language. I shouldn't have used the words I did, but in no way was I making a threat. I never would do such a thing.
So now he's from Brooklyn. He's using that excuse, Judge.
I never would do such a thing. Look, here is what happened. He said, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you.
Yeah.
Okay? He was not talking about anything but those justices. He was intimidating them. He was threatening them. He was calling a mob to incite, calling on a mob, inciting, as far as I'm concerned, violence, okay? That is a call to action in real time while the Supreme Court, that they're just outside of, is hearing the very case that this group is concerned about. It's the first abortion case since these two new judges have taken their seats on the Supreme Court. So when the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court comes out and says that it is a dangerous threat, you can rest assured that it is a threat. And what are they going to do? These judges have a lifetime appointment. So it's not like they can get them out of office. It's not like that they can, you know, call them or have someone run against them. It's basically politicizing the Supreme Court, and it's basically threatening them. And there are those who are calling upon Chuck Schumer to be, number one, prosecuted, number two, calling upon him to resign, number three, calling upon him to step down from his position as minority leader, as well as making sure that some want him impeached, which I think would be such poetic justice. But this is the same guy who said, you mess with the intel community and they'll mess with you 6 ways to Sunday. And look at what happened to Donald Trump. Look at what happened to America for 2 years. He's at it again.
So, Juan, my feeling is that he was playing to the crowd, but pro-choice people, and I know a lot of them, and I think you're pro-choice, have to contemplate the intensity of that fetal hate that you're seeing just like bubbling out of that group. And he got suckered into that because...
I don't think that's true. Look, first of all,
they're cheering the death of unborn children. Hooray!
Nobody, look, as you said, I'm pro-choice. I would never. I'm such a lover of children and family. I just don't think that's.
Doesn't that creep you out, though?
No. Let me just say, and also abortion is at, I think, a record low rate in the country right now. But I do think what strikes me is, to come to your point, Judge, that we see the Chief Justice respond, and I was taken by this, and I think that obviously Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell and others were taken. The Chief Justice said that was a dangerous comment, right? But then I thought to myself, well, the Chief Justice didn't say anything when the president was going after Sotomayor, when he was going after Ruth Bader Ginsburg. He didn't say anything when the president said, "Oh, that Mexican, a Mexican American can't be a judge."
Here's the difference.
Wait, you don't want to hear this. All right, let me
finish.
because it strikes me that what we see is the president has said and brags about the number of conservatives he has put on the court. He brags about having put Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. He shows up at a major anti-abortion rally when other Republican presidents.
It doesn't mean that thing. Well, here's the difference.
He politicized
the president didn't go to these judges' office in front of a huge angry crowd and make a veiled threat.
I just told you,
he did it on Twitter.
He went to
the doorsteps of the Supreme Court, Juan, in front of an angry, screaming crowd.
But Jesse, he
the
went to an
pro-life march was a loving march.
You don't see pro-lifers acting like that, Juan. Let's be honest. Yeah, the pro-lifers, the only thing you can do to a pro-lifer is set up Nicholas Sandman. That's all you can do. Dana, I want to ask you, what bothers me is, like, I'm pro-life. I understand that abortion is here, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. But when you see that, you realize it's moved away from reproductive rights to a kind of a fetal fascism. It's like if you are not part of their battle or that side of the war, you're as good as dead.
But it's really interesting, too, that, Chief Justice Roberts has always said, ever since his confirmation hearings in 2005, he believes in precedent. He doesn't see, like, when these abortion cases are coming their way, I think that he is reluctant to be guiding this one where it's going to overturn Roe v. Wade. They might do it eventually. I don't know. This case out of Louisiana is one of them. But the other thing about this is, just the other night, we had Super Tuesday, and we got the Fox News voter analysis from each state. And if you looked at the issues of what are the most important issues to you, this is Democrats.
Yeah.
And it was health care, and it was jobs, and then climate, and then like 1%. In almost every single state said abortion was their number one issue. So Chuck Schumer, like, from a political standpoint, doesn't have to go and face this angry crowd, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to go and be a part of it, but he chose to, and then he got caught up in it, and it's like stepping on a rake in the Senate floor.
I think abortion, though, is obviously a polarizing issue, but the Supreme Court, which is a real token for the president to say, you know what, I put 2 conservative judges on the court, is going to be a big issue in November. Now for Democrats, and I think this is a signal as to how important it's going to be.
No, that's it?
Sure.
Okay.